I want to answer the question, does writing have the ability to heal? And to me, the answer is a resounding yes. Writing can heal. Especially in my own life, writing has helped me so much with my mental health, my physical health, and also my spiritual health. I struggled with depression throughout my teen years and my early 20s. And I really feel that writing Sabrina and Karina and Woman of Light is something that sort of pulled me out of that and allowed me to prioritize my own health and to take care of myself in a way that I had never before. In my own family, working on these novels has allowed me to become closer to the elders. Woman of Light is a novel that took over 10 years to write and research, and it's based on my own family history. While I was writing this book, my godmother and my cousin, she's in her mid-80s, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. And the process of visiting her, listening to her stories through these many, many years, it made us grow closer together. And in a lot of ways, it helped me see, what a treasure it is to have our health, but also how wonderful it can be when someone is sick to be there with them and to listen to their stories. So I definitely believe that writing has the ability to heal, and not only the individual, but the community and the family as well. Writing Woman of Light, it was during the pandemic when I was finishing up the draft of the novel, and I was living in downtown Denver, and everything was closed off. We were sheltering in place, and I would go out on long walks throughout the city, and I would pay attention to the architecture, the original streets, the sidewalks. So this novel is set in the 1930s and in the 1890s. And even though I wasn't able to go out and be in restaurants that were packed with people, I still felt this idea of the crowded city space through the imagination. It was often very lonely finishing a novel during the height of the pandemic, but it did allow me to think about, what are my priorities? Am I thinking about this in terms of a once a season book that came out in the summertime and then people will stop reading it? Or am I thinking about my books in terms of generations? People will be around longer than I will. They were around before I was here. And it's important to me to think about my work having that kind of longevity. So I would love to read a little bit from Woman of Light for you today. Both of my books, Sabrina and Karina and Woman of Light, deal with the theme of healing. And in particular, in Woman of Light, there is a brutal scene early on at the beginning of the novel where Luce, who's our protagonist, she's a 17-year-old tea leaf reader and laundress. Her brother Diego has been run out of town by a violent white mob. In fact, he's been incredibly injured during a horrible, horrible attack. And so the scene I'm about to read is when the family matriarch, Maria Josie, she's taken over healing Diego as his wounds are recovering in their small tenement in downtown Denver. To the Edges, Chapter 6. For 7 days, Maria Josie sat at Diego's bedside, reading aloud from an old copy of Don Quixote, breaking only for meals, sleep, and her long shifts at the mirror factory. Between the book's pages, Maria Josie would glance up with a watchful gaze, casually, as if checking the clock. It had snowed, padding the exterior brick and rickety roof in a pleasing weight. Several times a day, Luce brought Maria Josie water with iodine and an herb called plumajillo. She'd walk swiftly to the nightstand and placed a white dish beside wilted lilies and dried marigolds and heaps of bloody gauze and wooden rosaries. There were santo candles burned into liquid wax, San Miguel glowing from his eyes. The bedroom smelled like sickness, a plumy stench that clung to Luce's clothes and hair. She had opened the windows only to mingle the smells of illness with carcass and smog. Reina and Corporal looked on from their glass cage, and because Maria Josie was afraid of snakes, Luce took over their feedings. Sunlight would warm their faces as she dropped mice into the cage. "Any better?" Luce asked one afternoon, sprinkling hay into the terrarium. Maria Josie sat beside Diego, cleaning with her glasses. "See for yourself." From across the room, Luce considered Diego's face. It was the size that frightened her most, the inhumanness of his proportion. "I just didn't understand why they'd do it. Why Diego? She asked with sadness, thinking of the bricks slammed into her brother over and over. Maria Josie grimaced, curving her arm in a flannel jacket over the chair's back. They're men. White men. She pushed forward and gripped Diego's foot, small and paw-like beneath his quilt. That's what they do.